Bodmas is an acronym and mnemonic that helps children, or indeed anybody else, remember the order of operations in mathematical sums and equations. It's an acronym that's primarily used in the United Kingdom and British Commonwealth countries. In the United States and France, they use a slightly different acronym called Pemdas, but it's essentially the same thing. In Bodmas, the B stands for brackets, whereas in Pemdas, the P stands for parentheses, and both are punctuation marks that are used to enclose extra information. But that's English and another subject altogether, but this is maths, so let's continue. The O in the Bodmas acronym stands for orders, whereas the E in Pemdas stands for exponents, again one and the same thing, and the rest of both acronyms are the same. So the D is for divide, the M is for multiply, the A is for add or addition, and finally the S is for subtract. So this is the order that you will complete operations in, but be mindful when you have division and multiplication, and when you have addition and subtraction, you will do those pairings from left to right. So it doesn't matter what order the division and multiplication is written in the sum or equation, you do them from left to right. And likewise, no matter what order the pairing of addition and subtraction is written in, you operate from left to right. So let's look at an example, and let's make the first one really simple. 10 plus 5 minus 9. In this example, we only have addition and subtraction. And we know that when we have addition and subtraction together, we go from left to right. So let's add 5 plus 10 is 15. We've simplified the equation now, so it's 15 minus 9, which is 6. Right, let's look at another example. 3 times 3 divided by 3. In this example, we have multiplication and division, and we know when we have multiplication and division in the sum, we operate from left to right. So first, we'll multiply. 3 times 3 is 9, so let's write down 9 on the line below, and then the rest of the sum divided by 3. The equation is now simplified and becomes 9 divided by 3. And we know that 9 divided by 3 is 3. Right, let's look at a third example. 8 plus 16 divided by 4. This one is slightly trickier. We have addition and division in the sum, but we know that when we have addition and division, we can refer to our Bodmas acronym and see what order we need to carry out the operations in. So even though linearly the sum is written with the addition first and the division second, our Bodmas mnemonic tells us that division comes before addition. So let's divide. And let's simplify the equation by writing the equal sign on the line below. We'll write the 8 plus next to that because we're not adding yet. And then let's do the division sum first and write the answer to that. So 16 divided by 4 equals 4. So let's write the answer in to simplify the equation. And we can see the simplified equation now becomes 8 plus 4. So let's complete the final step by adding those together, and we know that 8 plus 4 is 12, and so 12 is the final answer to the sum. Now let's have a look at this one. We've got multiplication, we've got division, and we have subtraction. So referring back to the Bodmas order of operations, we know we have to do the multiplication and the division first, and we know that we operate from left to right. Multiplication is to the left of the division, so let's multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. We're not subtracting yet because we need to carry out the division first. So let's write down 8 and the minus sign. We're not subtracting just yet, we're dividing. 9 divided by 3 equals 3. And now that we've multiplied and divided and simplified the equation, we can do the final step, which is subtraction. So 8 minus 3 is 5, and we get our final answer. Now let's solve a more advanced sum. In this one, we have brackets or parentheses if we're using the Pemdas model. We have division, we have multiplication, we have subtraction as well. But which one are we doing first? That's right, it's the brackets. And although we have a subtraction equation within the brackets, we know that we have to carry out the equation within the brackets first. So let's start to simplify the entire equation by writing down 4 times. Then let's do the equation that's in the brackets. And that's 30 minus 15, which is equal to 15. And let's write that down. And then let's complete the simplified equation by writing down the divided by 10. So now in the simplified equation, we only have multiplication and division. And when it's a pairing of those two, we know that we operate from left to right. So multiplication first. 4 times 15 is equal to 60, so let's write that down. And then the divided by 10. And now we can do the last step. 60 divided by 10, which is 6. Now let's have a look at this problem. Ostensibly it seems a little bit more daunting, but if we know our order of operations, then it becomes quite straightforward. We've got quite a few operators in there, including brackets, division and multiplication, and we also have addition and subtraction. But which process is first? That's right, you've got it, it's the brackets. So let's write down the 9 and the divide symbol first, but we're not going to be doing that operation just yet. Let's do the sum in the brackets. 7 minus 4 is equal to 3, so let's write 3 after the divide symbol, and then write down the remainder of the equation that came after the brackets, and that's times 2 plus 5. Now that the equation has been simplified a little bit, we can look at the next step in the process. We still have division, multiplication and addition to carry out. We know division and multiplication come before addition, and we know that we do division and multiplication from left to right. So we have 9 divided by 3, and that is 3. Let's write that in, and then write in the remainder of the equation, which is times 2 plus 5. We can then do our multiplication next, because we know multiplication comes before addition. So let's go ahead and do 3 times 2, which is 6. And now the equation is absolutely simplified to 6 plus 5. And the answer to that is 11. In this example, we do have brackets, but this time there are 2 operations inside the brackets. However, there's nothing to fear because we know our order of operations. So let's have a look. We have brackets, we have division and multiplication, and we also have addition and subtraction. As we know, we'll be doing the brackets first, so on the line below, let's write down the 20 minus, and then let's look at the 2 operations inside the brackets. Inside the brackets, we have addition and multiplication, and even though they are inside the brackets, nothing changes. It's still going to be multiplication first in the order of operations. So we don't add yet, we open the bracket and write down the 5 plus, and then operate on the multiplication. So 3 times 3 is 9, Let's write that in and close the bracket, and then we'll write the divided by 2 after the closed bracket. Now let's finish the one remaining sum inside the bracket. On the next line down, we'll write the 20 minus again because we're not touching that just yet. We'll do the addition that's inside the bracket. 5 plus 9 is 14, so let's write that after the 20 minus. The brackets are now gone, so let's complete the line with the divided by 2. Now we only have subtraction and divide in the simplified equation, and out of those two operations, which one will we be doing first? Right again, it's the division first according to our Bodmas mnemonic. So let's write down the 20 minus again on the line below, and let's do the division. 14 divided by 2 is 7, so let's write 7 in, and that leaves us with the absolute simplified sum of 20 minus 7, and the answer to that is, of course, 13. And finally, let's have a look at this sum that includes an operation that we haven't used in any examples thus far. But we won't be daunted or fazed by that, because we know that step by step we can simplify the sum following the Bodmas or Pemdas order of operations. So let's have a look what we have in this example. We have brackets, we have orders or exponents if we're using the Pemdas mnemonic, we have division and multiplication, and we also have addition and subtraction, the full house. So let's solve this problem step by step. And we know the first thing that we need to do is to take care of the sum inside the brackets. So on the next line, let's write down the sum prior to the brackets, and that is 6 plus 2 to the power 3, or 2 cubed, whichever you prefer. Then the division symbol, and let's minus 2 from 10, which is equal to 8. Let's write that in. The brackets are now out of the equation, so let's complete the line with the times 2 plus 4. Now let's move to the next process, which we know from our mnemonic is orders, and our order or exponent is 2 to the power of 3. So let's write down 6 plus, and then work out 2 to the power of 3, which is 8. Let's write that in, and then write down the remainder of the sum. So now our sum is simplified, but we still have addition, division and multiplication to take care of. We know that division and multiplication is going to come before any additions, and in the current sequence we see that division is to the left of the multiplication. So let's write on the next line 6 plus, then let's do the division. 8 divided by 8 is 1, so let's write 1 in, and then the remainder of the sum again. The next operation to take care of is the multiplication, so let's operate on that one. Again, we'll write down 6 plus, and let's do the multiplication. 1 times 2 is 2, and we'll write that in along with the remaining part of the sum. And now we're left with 2 additions to do, and we know we'll be doing them from left to right. So 6 plus 2 is 8. Let's write that down, and now we're down to the absolute simplified sum of 8 plus 4, which we know equals 12. And that is our lesson for today. And now that you know the Bodmas or Pemdas order of operations, you shouldn't be daunted or fazed when you see those complicated sums written out again. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel. Quizzical is primarily a quiz channel, but we do like to educate as well. So keep practicing with your math, find some Bodmas or Pemdas sums to practice with online, and I will see you next time.